Hi, my name's Travis White. I'll be your teacher in ICT 4015, Managing Technology for Strategic Value. And the first thing to know about this class is that it's a management class, not a technology class. We're going to look at the management of the information technology, or IT function. And managing IT is in some ways like managing any other process. But there are some special exceptions due to the history and how IT has evolved in organizations, companies, and government agencies. So if you think about the traditional departments of an organization, perhaps like sales and finance, manufacturing, services, and so on, those departments have been in companies for well over 100 years now. But the IT function came along maybe 40 years ago, maybe 50 years ago. So it's kind of a Johnny-come-lately in the organizational structure. And what we found is that IT doesn't always mesh easily and nicely into the existing organizational structure. So we sometimes find, for instance, that those traditional departments will go off and plot the corporate strategy and then turn to IT and say, here's the strategy, you figure out the technology we need to use to implement that strategy. That, by its definition, is treating technology tactically, not strategically. It's a means to an end rather than part of the overall solution. So we want to treat IT and treat technology strategically. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to move the IT function, the organization, into a tighter mix with the rest of the organization, with the more traditional departments. To do that, we have to understand strategy. We have to understand corporate culture and how to change and influence corporate culture. We have to understand planning and planning under uncertainty. Things change rapidly, and how do we adapt and how do we become less rigid and more agile in our implementation. We'll need to understand innovation. We need to understand organizational structures. We need to understand change and change management within organizations. And that's what we'll be talking about during this quarter. We'll be looking at each week a different aspect of strategy, culture, planning, organizational structures, organizational change, innovation, and disruptive innovation. Now, to do that, we're going to use a case study. I've written a case study for a small company, $850 million company called VAIR, V-A-I-R. And VAIR is based on my experience in the IT industry. And it's a fictional company, but it's a pretty typical company in many ways, at least based on my experience. It's a manufacturing company. It's about $850 million. It went public about 5 years ago. It was founded about 17 years ago. And it was founded by a very charismatic leader named Selena Ferguson. And Selena believed in corporate development. She believed in all kinds of research and strategy and so forth. But she read an article by Nicholas Carr, and we're going to read that same article. And that article in Harvard Business Review was titled, IT doesn't matter. So Selena said, well, IT doesn't matter. It's just a bag on the side. It's just a tactical thing. It's a cost center. Let's focus on keeping the cost down in the IT function and not letting costs get out of control. That was Selena's strategy. It worked for a while. The company grew very quickly. But over the past 5 years, revenues have leveled off and its stock prices underperformed the market. So it's in a bit of trouble. It's not big trouble, but it's not doing as well as it perhaps should be. So 6 months ago, I was hired as the new CEO of VAIR. 3 months ago, I hired you as the new CIO of VAIR. And unlike your predecessor, you, the CIO, report directly to me. Previously, your predecessor had reported to the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. So you have a better place in the hierarchy, but you have to earn your place at the strategic table. You have to help IT fold in and merge more successfully with the other departments of VAIR. And to do that, each week we're going to have a different topic, a different problem. At the end of the week, you're going to write me a memo, hopefully no more than 2 pages long, a memo on how you would recommend that we solve that problem. And you should know about me as I play the role of a CEO. I'm a pretty good CEO, I'm a pretty good manager, I kind of understand technology, but I'm certainly not a technology wizard. So you have to speak to me, you have to explain your technology, you have to explain your strategy in non-technical terms. You're a technical person talking to a non-technical executive. And believe me, that's one of the most important skills you can develop as you develop your career in information technology. So I'll help you with the communication, I'll help you with the writing and so forth, but you should be aware there's a lot of writing in this course. Every week you're going to write me a 2-page memo on how to solve the problem of the week. We also have discussions and we have different technologies we'll look at, but the basic idea is you're taking the IT function and blending it, merging it more successfully with the other departments in VEER. I think it's a very fun course. I think it's a course that will certainly benefit you if you want to go into IT management. But even if you don't want to go into IT management, it will help you understand how IT functions in an organization and how you can make that functioning more efficient and more effective. So I think it's a good course for everybody, especially for managers, but even for non-managers, individual contributors as well. So that's the net of the course. It's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to working with you, and I hope we have a great quarter together. Thank you very much.